Welcome everyone. Nice to see you. So I'm just going to give a short introduction on what we talk about today or what this is about. And then, of course, everyone is welcome to ask a question or say something, and we can have a conversation about that. And if nothing comes up, we can also just be silent and not speak at all. Because it's not about anything. So there is no goal in this meeting. There is no reason for that. It's not in order to arrive somewhere or find something or dive deeper or something. No, it's just this. What happens or what seems to be happening is just purely, let's say, itself. That's the natural reality. A certain amount of people sitting in a room which is real and unreal. That's the natural reality. There isn't more to it. There is no deeper reality. There is no mystery, really. It's just total, and in that sense, it's everything. The only illusion is, if you want so, if you say that there is an illusion at all, it's a story, of course. But the only illusion is that there is a separate entity from what happens, an experiencer, let's say, or a separate awareness, something that's real and that's separate from everything else, and that has an experience of what happens. So that's an illusion, and it's the only illusion. I exist, and I experience sitting in a room. And it all seems to be real within that experience, and it seems to be happening here and now, time and space, so to speak. And the assumption is that it's happening for a reason. So in the personal reality, there seems to be this, what I'm aware of, and something else that I'm not aware of, but that's somehow there. For example, meaning or a purpose, that this serves a deeper purpose. It's not just sitting in a room for no reason, it's happening for something else. That's the personal reality, and this is the dream, and it's the only dream. I'm separate, and I'm experiencing something. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. When I say it's a dream, it's rather meant in a descriptive way. It's not judgmental, really. It's not saying that this is wrong or this shouldn't be. It's just what seems to be happening, and it's the same wholeness. It's equally whole. The only problem, so to speak, problem also like this, it's not a real problem, is that within this setup of separation, there's this sense of unfulfillment and the seeking for fulfillment that comes out of it. So that's the apparent struggle the person lives in. It's just part of this experience. It can't be changed, really. It can't be solved. There is no solution to this, but that's just part of the seeking setup. That something feels wrong. The person doesn't really know what, but it's just an impression that goes together with this feeling to be someone. So apparently one could say this is the only problem. But of course this problem also only exists within the dream of a person. So it's also only an apparent problem. It's not a real problem. So that's it. This is it. There isn't more. There isn't anything else. It's everything already. Won't be realized. Can't be realized. So what happens, or what seems to be happening, is just unrealizedly itself. Does this work? I'm creating new language out of inability.
Andreas, so if I said to you, I feel like a person,
Yes.
you'd say that's the dream.
Well, I could say two things. On the one hand, that's what seems to be happening. On the other hand, it's a dream that there is a real person, or that this is real.
How can you call it a dream?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just not there really.
So when you say a dream, you mean almost like a hypnotic state?
Do I mean it's a hypnotic state? No, it's not there.
Okay. So it's in the same way that when you sleep at night and you have a dream.
No, no, I don't mean it in that way. No.
Okay. Because what I was going to say is when you dream at night, none of that really happens.
Yeah, but it's for someone already. So usually in night dreaming, when there is someone, night dreaming already is an experience. So no, and when I say the me is a dream, it actually means that it's not there. It's not that there is some mysterious dream happening. No, I can't explain it. The dream is that there is someone at all, which actually means there is no dream really.
But that sense of being a person or that dream seems to be localized to the body.
Well, yeah, only apparently, not really.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because if it's not there, then why does it seem to have a kind of, in a way, it seems to attach itself to the body?
Yeah, no, there's no answer. You're already coming from a position of reality. But
You mean that there's a real dream,
exactly.
and therefore there's a real body and it attaches and blah, blah,
And there's a real center that experiences itself, that can ask questions about itself. It's just a bit more sophisticated way to say, who am I?
Yes, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Can you let me know, please?
Well, how do you know? Why do you think I have an answer to that? Just because I'm sitting here? No, I have no idea.
So why is the person asking, who am I? Because it doesn't actually really...
Oh, it hopes that the answer is somehow useful, maybe.
When I know who I am, then I have a direction.
Then maybe that helps.
For orientation, isn't it? In what seems to
For
be...
whatever.
Yeah.
Even maybe in order to get rid of oneself.
Yeah.
Maybe the me wants to know who am I, then I can work on getting rid of me.
It's a big complicated bundle, isn't it?
Well, it's actually quite simple, but yeah.
To itself, it experiences itself.
Absolutely.
The experience for itself is complicated.
Yeah, the me has the impression to live in a very complicated world that's made out of numerous parts and a lot of things to think about, many, many aspects that are all kind of important and that have to be considered. It's a dream.
So because
it's quite simple. This is totally simple. It's not complicated to sit in a room.
For the me, it can be.
For the me turns even sitting in a room into a task. It's very complicated. Oh, absolutely. How am I sitting in a room in the right way? In order to gain as much fulfillment as possible. No, of course. Shall I listen to you, Andreas? Shall I be open and receptive? Oh no, there's nothing going on, so I just rest in myself. Maybe it's over quickly. No, of course. Yeah.
So when you say sitting in a room is simple, you mean because it already is, and in a way it's unpreventable?
Yeah, it's not easy to do. It's impossible to do. In that sense, it's not simple. But the simplicity is that it's already happening. Yeah. Or, isn't it?
So when you talk about because I remember you saying in Helsinki about there's no experience of ease.
Of ease.
Ease.
Yeah.
But everything is easy in that, in a way.
In a way, yes.
It's because the effortlessness is that there's nothing required to do anything.
Yes, nothing struggles with itself. This whole universe isn't in a struggle with itself, it just is itself. Well, apparently, of course, but nothing compromises with itself, nothing struggles with itself already. Also, the struggle of the me doesn't struggle with itself. It just is itself.
But it feels like it's a apparent struggle.
Yeah, and if it's somehow that there is an effort in it.
So when the illusion of I drops, the sense of efforting drops.
Completely. The sense of efforting is basically I have to do it, whatever is the task. And of course that drops.
And so if I see that body making an effort, there's no experience of it being an effort.
Oh yeah, it happens absolutely effortlessly. To run stressed around on the station trying to catch a train. You don't need to do that. It's happening by itself. The dream just is on top for the person. The person might assume that it needs to run to the train stressed but accepting or something.
Or trying to be less stressed, trying to get a bit less stressed on the way.
Whatever, to do something with the stress.
And also the sense of the person is, this takes fulfillment. If I was able to do it relaxed, well, I would think.
Exactly, this would give me more because being stressed in the station takes away fulfillment from me or peace. The precious peace that I was just talking myself into 10 minutes before.
In that sense, there's two types of effort. There's the efforting that's just the natural body efforting stressed because and then there's the efforting
which
or the
just
pressure.
happens, but for no deeper reason.
And then the efforting or the pressure of the me is a need.
It's goes together with a sense of I have to be okay with what happens.
And to make it all work.
For me, all for me. Yeah, exactly. That I can be in a relaxed and easy way. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
When you say it happens for no deeper reason, the efforting that the body makes naturally, you said it happens for no deeper reason, but there is a deeper reason because you want to get ahead.
Oh yeah, but no one's aware of that.
So there is an apparent intention of the body without a me.
Yeah. Yeah, why
Just
not?
no one's aware of the intention because there's no assumption.
Yeah, when I say it doesn't serve a deeper purpose, it's like it's not supposed to serve me to be a happy me or to become a happy me.
So it's kind of like the body has an apparent intention,
Yeah, why not?
but there's no reliance or dependence upon the outcome actually
Absolutely.
manifesting.
Yeah, because having the intention is already whole and complete. Trying to get a train is already whole and complete. It actually doesn't need arriving at the train. It's already in.
Whereas for the me, the intention's owned in order to ensure that outcome is arrived at.
That I'll make it to the train, that I'll be on time at the seminar, that I may become fulfilled at some point. Yeah. It would just look as if getting the train is another step on my path. It's not the actual thing, but I have to get the train in order to arrive at the actual thing.
So when you're getting the train is not even really needed.
Oh no, of course not. No, why?
It's not
What
needed.
for? Oh
So
no.
you think it's not needed for you to be here?
No, it isn't.
I think it is needed for you to be here.
No, it's not needed. I mean, it would be a bit weird if I wouldn't show up. But, if me too wouldn't show up, let's put it like that. But yeah, it's not needed. I mean, what for? And you don't need it. I don't need it. Sorry. In der Box da unten. Mobile phone.
I don't have a question per se. I would like to speak to something that's bothering the so-called me. Is that my family and friends all seem to have a problem with the way I am, sit, dress, talk. And it's apparent to the point where I can't say I don't exist to any of them.
Oh no, you can't.
Yeah,
Who would you say?
Nuts is that I'm egoistic because I'm not with my family in Rome. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm selfish, whatever. I don't dress appropriate.
yeah.
As a 44-year-old, etc. And I'm like, oh, what do you say?
Oh, it's impossible. You can't say anything. There is no.
And so if I get angry, that's what's happening.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And so there's no way out. The
No.
moment I don't get angry, it may feel better, but it's equal as not being angry. So
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. And I think you can't really convince them that you are okay.
Yeah, my mom.
Who would? I mean, there is no one really, so to convince.
So I just let her say it. I mean, I can't.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it.
Yeah,
It's-
you are not
I
there.
get it.
Yeah, there is no answer,
Yeah.
basically.
It seems so apparent though, once this message reaches your ears, it really goes like that, no? Or it can.
Well, what do you
My
mean?
life went like,
It goes like that?
yeah, like the way I was living and putting in so-called putting in.
Oh, it can change, absolutely.
Yeah, so in my life, it's like I have nothing more to say as other than listening to how I'm doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything wrong now.
Yeah, there really is no answer to it. Of course, I mean, what can happen is as long as there is someone, of course, one's life is built around being someone. And of course, when this impression that there is someone somehow collapses or becomes softer, sorry, it's a bit rude, but of course, it changes the whole energetic system of everyone who's involved in it. And it can, of course, also look like this. And for some people, it might even look egoistic if you don't follow the person's dreams anymore. If you share the common idea that there is a problem with anything. So this might change life too. It doesn't have to, but it's possible. And of course, as seen from the person, the death of the person is regarded as wrong. This is usually regarded as wrong also. It's not good to not be anyone. Energetically. I don't mean conceptually, of course. The moment you are into religion or Buddhism, it might sound a good idea to not be anyone. But quite directly, energetically, it's not appreciated by the me, by one's own me, so to speak, and by the me of others. It doesn't feel good, death, to not be there. Everything that's around this energy, let's say. So yeah, the me, apparently the me will not approve of this. Maybe the concepts for a while, that's fine. So
Sorry, Andreas, when you say approve, does that mean like that will approve what's happening? Is it?
exactly, I mean, exactly. So what happens is never really approved, or kind of the death of me. If that's what happens, it's also not approved automatically. Yeah.
Is it like it's funny? I'm here today, right?
And the collapse of value systems and all that goes with it. It's already no, there's something wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm just talking about basic how I got here, right? I booked in for Tony Parsons, and he got sick or whatever, and then I'm probably just going to go to Munich and drink beer for the weekend.
Then unfortunately I showed up.
No, but I was just thinking that like you said, if you didn't show up, I would be here drinking beer, probably. But you could have not shown up as well, yeah?
Oh yeah, of course.
That's how crazy this thing is.
Yeah, oh totally. Yeah, it's apparently it's quite wild and unpredictable. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you did last evening, but maybe it's even melting into each other.
I just, beers.
I can have all of it.
So it just looks like I don't know if I want a technique. It's like there's no point looking at this thing. It's just happening.
Totally, absolutely, completely by itself, all the time, so to speak, or timelessly. There's just what happens, including oneself, not just a happening out there. I mean, oneself happens just with everything. Yeah. That's the free fall, so to speak.
Yeah.
Without a direction, of course. It's not going down or something, but totally unpredictable wildness.
It's not going down or up, it's going nowhere.
Exactly, it doesn't have a direction. Yeah. It's not static, but it's also not going anywhere. What happens? Sitting in a room. And it's in the end it's unpredictable because it's not something even.
The moment one thinks what you just said, then you're in a dream.
When you think that,
what you just said.
Oh yeah, of course. The assumption that this can be known or understood, that's it. Yeah, possible. Yeah. So what I just said, no one knows. It cannot be realized that this is free falling without direction, that it's not going anywhere, that it's no thing. It can't be comprehended.
Andreas, is it fair to say that there's a sense of boundlessness in the room in this kind of a meeting?
I don't sense boundlessness.
No, you are boundlessness. No, you are like.
Well, you too.
Come on, I'm also.
But believe me, there is no control in there or anywhere. I mean,
okay, so there's a sense of boundlessness. There is a sense, no, because compared to my normal life, when I don't sense, it
but
feels
this is normal life
for you. No, but you know what I mean. The sense of contraction can loosen. It's probably a better way of saying it. In this environment.
Okay, let's go. Apparently, yes.
Apparently. Well, I mean, it can loosen at home too, but here it seems more something more palpable or visible about the boundlessness. And I can't help but project that onto you like it's something you have that you're giving.
Yeah.
Is that because the me thinks that lives in that conditionality of something has it and something doesn't have it and blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, all that, yeah. That's to be expected, that you project it onto something. And here it might be me because I'm sitting in front and I'm speaking, so yeah, that's how it is.
But it wouldn't matter if you weren't sitting there and I was just looking at the flowers, it could be the same.
Yeah, would be fine for me. Ask them.
So they are as much boundlessness as you.
Of course. And they have as much answers as I have. They just answer with their own fragrance. fragrance, which I do too. It's more an oral fragrance.
So everything is as much boundlessness.
Oh, totally. Oh, absolutely.
I live in conditionality. I can't see it.
Yeah, but this is boundless too. It's only apparent. It's not real.
And so there's nothing there living in conditionality.
And there, and anywhere.
Could you go out for 10 minutes that we can experience how it is without?
No.
And that's what sets up the dependence for the me, isn't it? Is it thinks, well, this has it and that doesn't have it, so it's like dependent on that.
Oh yeah, it already thinks that there is an it and something to get, and this whole, all the aspects of that, or all the symptoms of being someone. I'm separate, there is a goal, it's about something, there is right or wrong, I can get it from somewhere. I have to be in a certain way, I have to ask good questions or whatever. This whole thing is just, there is no one.
It seems like there's a new language being created here. I've never heard the word conditionality before. It's conditioning where I come from. But conditionality?
No, for me, they're two different things. Conditioning is what happens, like training the dog to respond to a certain command. Whereas conditionality is good and bad, right and wrong, better and worse. Like, this is acceptable, this is unacceptable. That's like, as opposed to everything being non-conditional. I don't know if that makes sense.
No. Makes no sense to me.
No, doesn't matter. As long as all the rest makes sense.
I'm proud of you.
Yes, so one could also say what happens is just unconditionally itself. It doesn't say, but I need to be clearer, I need to be more enlightened, I need to feel better. I don't know, 30 people sitting in a room doesn't say to itself, but I should be fulfilled. Or I should be aware of myself first, and then it's okay to be there. No, it's just this for no reason at all. Unconditional. I mean, it doesn't speak to itself anyway at all.
There's no relating.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's no separation. There's no relating. Which is the same. Relating and separation. So in that sense, all seeking or all spirituality is actually relationship work. My relation with what I experience. How can I make this as good as possible? That's a dream.
That's a funny thing because I mean, it seems like the mind can only function in relating.
Yeah, but actually I wouldn't say it's the mind really. The thinking my impression is it's the feeling of separation that really lives in this, feeling of trying to connect the parts and bring it all together and finding a good way to be, which is kind of a good way to relate to the world. I don't know if the thinking. It's not really the thinking.
Well, what is it?
Good question. There's no answer.
Is it conditional?
No, the body is conditioned. Apparently, that's all right. But the person, the me, so to speak, would also be in relationship with its conditioning and trying to work on it and change it, hoping that this would help. So that's the relationship or the separation, actually. Me and my thoughts. How do I deal with my thoughts? How do I deal with feelings? With this situation, with my job, with money, with my conditioning, with my behavior, with my body, with everything.
When you hear the sentence, there's no way to be.
Yeah.
Well, what does the mind do with that?
It'll try to. It comes up.
It's dumbfounded, isn't it?
I mean, in the end, it's not the mind. I don't know what you mean with mind.
Well,
just
the thinking apparatus or the feeling thinking apparatus.
Yeah. When you say feeling thinking apparatus, it's the me trying to do something with it using the mind.
Yeah.
But it's not the thoughts themselves that want a solution. It's kind of the me, that the energy, this presence that is seeking for what can I do with that? What does this mean?
So you found something that doesn't exist?
Well, there is no one. Nothing exists really.
Andreas, you said before that, like, when you asked, is there anyone, and you say no, it's not obviously a conclusion you reached. You just said, when I asked you about it, you said at one point or at some point you could just no longer make that claim that there was someone.
Yeah.
That still sounds like reaching a conclusion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Because if you can't claim that you're a person, how does that drop that claim of being someone? It's just an apparent point where there's no longer the ability to say I am a person.
Yeah, in the end, it's not even dropping. It's just not there anymore at some point, which actually is something else than some mysterious dropping of it.
So the claim that I am someone is just an energetic claim before it becomes verbalized or
Yeah,
thought.
one could say so. A sense of presence, some awareness.
And when that goes, there's nothing aware that there's no one aware.
Exactly. There's just no one there anymore. Yeah.
Andreas, it sounds like when you need to sleep, there's no one there, no one aware. So
Yes.
you do the same thing.
Exactly. It's just when deep sleep goes on in the morning. Oh yeah, totally.
But with an appearance cup, do you understand? I don't understand.
Yeah, but there is no real appearance of anything. So this is as blind to itself than in deep sleep. It's just the same, basically. And the only thing that would somehow claim, no, it's different than in deep sleep, that would somehow talk to itself and to others, say, no, something changed really when I woke up. That is the illusion. So when there is no one, the eyes open and the body gets up and brushes teeth, but there's nothing there experiencing itself to have woken up from deep sleep. It's death. Seen from the person, liberation is just death.
But does that mean that you feel and experience? Sorry,
Who's saying?
does that mean that you feel and experience a kind of free, open life continuously?
No, there is no experience at all,
Okay. But what do you
continuously.
feel? But what do you feel? Nothing.
Yeah.
You just.
But I'm not there. The body feels stuff,
Yeah.
but there is no one experiencing it. So the functioning body with thoughts and feelings is kind of deeply sleeping, or it's inexperienced. I mean, there is no special state of deep sleep. I mean, that there is a state called deep sleep is an idea from the person, but there's just no one there experiencing. It's not a state. Yeah.
And as far as you're concerned, are we all in deep sleep as well?
Oh yeah, all there is, or let's put it like this, there is no experience of anything. It does not exist. That there is any kind of real experiencing or real awareness. It doesn't happen. It's already deeply sleeping. Yeah, it sounds like a state. It's already inexperienced. Totality. What this is inexperienced. And apparently there's just this personal experience. Yeah, but I experienced something. But this has absolutely nothing to do with the totality of what seems to be happening here. It's just some personal experience, but it has nothing to do with this. So, of course, what this is, how this is, if it is, it's inexperienced already. It doesn't matter, it just is like that. I mean, already.
Could you say that it's the disappearance of observer?
Yeah, by turning out that the observer was never real. There never was a real observer. Yeah.
So observer and me, they are same thing.
They are the same thing, yeah. Yeah.
And the observing.
Yeah, it drops with it. I mean, there is a scene, but not always. You know, that's just what seems to be happening. But it's not that there is a continuous, real observing all the time. No. I mean, apparently there's now a scene of a room, but there is no additional observing that's somehow real or meaningful. No. I mean, the me is both the doer and the observer, the experiencer and the creator. So the experience itself is both. Both is strength.
For example, I spoke to you, and then I recognized that my heart starts to beat more.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's usually why for me. So on one hand, you can say it's not my heart, but in another way, I can say it's my heart, otherwise I'm dead. And that's also fine.
Yeah,
my
I mean,
point is like you ignore that you have a heart or that you breathe.
no.
You just include it as an experience.
No, it's exactly the one which can say either or the other thing. This one isn't real. I don't talk to myself. I don't have to say to myself the heart is real, but I also don't talk to myself saying the heart isn't real.
Yeah.
This I isn't real.
Yeah.
And if there's a heart or not, it's not a question actually. I don't. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter, but the pumping heart is whole and complete. It's not.
Yeah.
No one cares what it is.
Just you do this thing and that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Andreas? At some point as a child, we got this sense of like we're born with a kind of in the oneness, and then I'm not sure, but I think I can actually nearly remember. I don't remember, but
Yes.
like a sense of total panic because there's something. That panic, it's like a sense of separation has kicked in.
Absolutely. That's what seems to be happening. And it's not logical because I understand on the one hand, it seems to feel utterly real by not being real. But this doesn't make sense. And I can't explain it in a way it makes sense. But yes, that's what seems to be happening. At a certain point, oh, I am.
And it separates itself, like where oneness separates itself, playing an illusion. Or
Well, the funny thing is what this says is that this separation never happens. Even within this impression to be separate, there is no separation at all. But yeah, apparently it feels real. I'm me and I'm separate. Yeah. And in the end, there is no answer to it because it is the same wholeness like everything else. It isn't separate. That's why you never find an answer to that separation. But I understand. Apparently, it feels real.
and it like creates all this neurosis, like beating hearts, panic. I mean,
Apparently, it does, so to speak.
we run around trying to sort ourselves out constantly.
Absolutely. Which is still undivided. It's still not happening because there is a real me that really separated itself, that caused all those things. All of it also is what seems to be happening. But with all those things, the sense to be real and the apparent influence on seeing gurus, seeking here and there.
So that's saying that there has to be an energetic exchange, but that can't actually be because there isn't two.
Yeah, there is no exchange really. Yeah.
But finally, all dreams are illuminating, and again, there's only natural reality.
Exactly. There is no dream. There is no illusion. There's just what seems to be happening.
Or stress or problems, part of this dream imagination. Imagination.
Where in a way the only dream would be that I need to solve problems in order to become fulfilled. That's the only real problem for the person, so to speak. But that's not a problem.
They get solved by itself. Nobody is needed to solve the problem.
Well, in that sense, this problem doesn't exist. That there is someone who is unfulfilled, who needs to somehow find fulfillment. No one here needs to find fulfillment. It's just not, there isn't anyone really.
Let it be.
Hmm?
Let it be.
Too much. A bit too much being in it.
Whenever there's a grasping, or it feels as if this is grasping the freedom of it, the brain feels I'm going insane. So much freedom I can't handle. And there is no one to go insane, but they cannot understand it.
Yeah.
So that feels like a loop. I'm looping in this, oh my god. And then,
Yeah, grasping it and noticing that that it's ungraspable,
yeah,
and then it feels like too much.
it feels like I can't handle this, I'm going nuts.
Oh yeah. I mean, as you said, there is no one to go nuts, but fingers crossed. But oh yeah, you can't handle it, of course. Yeah, wholeness is, in that sense, it's a story, but wholeness is too big to be squeezed into a personal experience. Yeah.
And then Laura kind of hopes at one point it'll break through because this is a loop that's been going on.
Yeah, and that's another dream of the person. The idea that I'm going to break through is again the idea that I will survive it and then own it. It's the same idea. There'll be a breakthrough. I'll arrive somewhere. Yeah, that is the dream. I mean, in a way, the person can't let go of the idea that it'll survive it and achieve it. So the idea that it's pretty like this, where when the wholeness seems to be too big, the person never thinks in terms of, okay, I'll die then, and just let wholeness take over. Its impression is still, yeah, one day it'll be mine. There's a breakthrough, or where I will feel more fulfilled. Doesn't exist. Won't happen. Can't happen. Didn't happen here.
So the dream is that the feeling uncomfortable shouldn't be, and I want to get away. To feel better equals, ooh, I got it, but that's the dream.
Yes, totally. I am is the
This is
dream.
the dream.
Yeah. And it starts off with the impression that there's something wrong here, and that this is the starting point for my journey to or another step. Most people think that their starting point was back then. It's just another step for the person, and that's a dream. But there is no waking up from that dream. That's what I mean. That's another. The person would instantly say, okay, so how can I wake up from this? Oh, no. There's either the collapse of this without anyone waking up from it, or the illusion that I'm here and I need to wake up or have a breakthrough and arrive in paradise.
So all this is energetics, that's all it is. It's an energy.
One could say that's all energetic.
Because while you're talking, my feet are boiling hot, I have flashes, the heart is beating.
Well,
So that's very happening.
yeah, why not?
It's like Moses leading his people to the Holy Land, and before he found it, he
No.
never could get in.
No, I don't have rules or stuff. That was,
No, I mean like the personal experience, that the one who tries to lead to some point, but when he arrived, he died. He cannot go inside the Holy Land or whatever.
yeah, kind of.
Okay.
I notice I'm not really aware of the Moses story, but yeah. Oh yeah, that's the dream. That I'm on a path and that I will arrive. But instead of arriving, there's just nothing. Again?
Therapy and healing is for die Katze, oder?
Well, it doesn't create more fulfillment. It is what it is. I mean, everything is for nothing. Nothing serves anyone to become more fulfilled. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
But it isn't bad. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It doesn't, because sitting on the loo is the same as sitting in an opera.
Yeah, there's nothing right or wrong or good or bad.
But in the story, it can look antisocial, or like I have one of my cousins. He got involved with drugs, and he's now in what we call a loony bin. You know what I mean? Our family would say he's
That's
lost
bad.
it. You know what I mean?
Lost his mind.
He's lost his mind. Just like it's sad. I go to visit him sometimes, and he doesn't even recognize me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing
It's a
is
sad
that,
story.
yeah, that's what it is. The
Mm.
thing is, there's just no answer to it. You can't make it good, really, or acceptable, except you tell yourself a story all the time.
Mm.
But also, this message also doesn't say it's also good. And no, there is absolutely no answer to it.
People get locked up in padded cells. People are locked up because apparently they're dangerous to society.
Yes,
That's energy creating.
yes. The thing is, you just can't answer it.
Mm. Yeah.
There is no, and this message also doesn't try to answer it. The person may think that this tries to give an answer to everything. It's just what happens. Oh yeah, good. No, there is
very
no
humbling,
answer to
yeah.
it. Yes, it is what happens, and it is whole and complete, but being exactly what it is. But it's not, you can't answer it. There is no answer to it. This message doesn't say it's all good so you can relax and feel fine. Oh, no, there is no you. Nothing is good or bad, and nothing needs this comforting oneself, really, with nice stories, which would just be work to tell oneself, but it's also wholeness. But I'm sure it serves a purpose. Whatever. We just can't see it. I think that's a good. I'm sure it's good for something.
Andreas, you never hear, this is a question, I'm not stating it. You never hear of any kind of reactions that come out of listening to this that surprise you?
No.
The reason I ask that is because I mean, I've shared all kinds of things with you that have happened while I'm listening to this. And you're always kind of like, oh, okay, kind of like it never shocks you. And I think seems to me it's because like you aren't surprised by the kind of reactions this can create in terms of how disturbing it can be to that reality.
Yeah. I'm surprised sometimes, but not shocked.
Yeah. Because it still surprises me that just sitting in a room and you're friendly and smiley and cracking jokes and you're cracking jokes, and then it creates all kinds of like I don't understand how it can be that disturbing. Do you know what I mean? To emotional reality.
I'm really, honestly sorry for that. It's not
No,
my,
it's not
it's
just
not my
you.
intention
It's not just
to
you.
create disturbance.
It's not just you.
There's no intention.
No, and I told you already when we spoke on the phone last that it doesn't bother me how bad it gets. Like I love coming here more than anything, so I don't think anything could put me off. But it shocks me that it could be that disturbing just to sit in a room and we're not.
Yeah.
What we're doing is totally innocent, really.
Oh yeah, we just talk, sit here and have a chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
And for me, it can
Yeah,
be
there's
like
nothing. It's not even that something is going on here. It's really nothing.
yeah.
Oh yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
And yet the me is so like adamantly opposed to that. It's almost like, you know, when it's trying to survive and the whole neurosis is going up and whatever else. It's almost like the me stamping its foot just because it's not getting what it wants.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, which it does anyway. In a way, that's just its life experience, and it's working. You know, it gets totally desperate on just nothing happening. There is no world happening. There is no life happening. But the person is like, oh, but I need to get my peace. And, whatever. Yeah.
It's just based on nothing at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a completely illusory dream that I have to do life, that life is a struggle. I mean, it's not actually life that's a struggle. I mean, it's the attempt to become fulfilled,
That anything
to be there as a me and to become fulfilled as a me. And it's based on nothing. It is nothing. It's based on nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's just that anything is needed at all.
Yes.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It never made sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have any idea of sense. Who cares?
I don't know this in English, but would you soon?
In order to, I would say.
People walk to the gym in order to lose weight, in order to attract a partner, or they get rich in order to. This in order to is the dream.
Yes, yeah, the thing.
It doesn't, but without me equity.
Yes, things like that might happen or not. Yeah, the things for the person, those things are only tools. People never want to become rich for no reason. They think that being rich gives them something deeper, that there is kind of a deeper value in being rich, or being in a relationship, or losing the me, or opening the heart, or whatever. It's never about the actual thing. In that sense, every me is on a spiritual journey, thinking that there is something deeper in this world. No matter if I live an adventurous life or a poor life or whatever the person can think or can think of being a valuable way to be. It's always in search for this deeper fulfillment.
So the idea of being single is not good and being couple, you made it, is completely.
Absolutely. I mean, the idea that there is someone who is single or not is absolutely. And that some circumstance, whatever it is, adds something to this deeper search. It doesn't do that.
So every relationship is just in order too, as well.
Well, only for the person, of
For the
course.
person.
There is the illusion of there being a relationship and hoping that it gives me something. Of course. But as I said with anything,
Yeah, anything, whatever.
its relationships to its feelings. For example, the person thinks that feelings give something. The good ones. The bad ones, they rob peace. They steal those precious peace. So how's my relationship with that?
With myself,
With
the
myself,
world, with the others,
with my
whatever.
thoughts, with the world, with my job.
It's always in order to.
Of course, in order to find something deeper, to get something deeper from it. Some kind of this fulfillment thing. Yeah, of course.
That's not willed. It's not conscious. I'm doing that.
No,
It
it's
just
not
happens.
conscious at all. That's just how the me lives. Because the actual experience is, it's not everything. So it's a hope, actually. It's hoping that this world has something to offer. Something more. Like sitting in this room. It can't just be sitting in a room. It must be about something. There must be more here. I'm not sitting here for nothing. I'm sitting here for, I don't know what, but something deeper.
And that's okay.
Oh yeah, of course. It's just not real, but that's okay too. So there just isn't anything deeper. But that's all right, of course. It's like that all the time. And it was never a problem.
If we stay with the theme of relationship.
Okay?
So if we stay with the theme of relationship, people meet, the bodies meet, they marry. Then there's
Oh,
divorce.
that's quick.
Marriage.
And if it lasts 52 years at my parents' side, it ends up with me like me. It's not a fault. We don't need to know shift, change, understand,
Yeah,
feel.
it's just what
It's
seems to be.
just two energies meeting. They
Well, only apparently. There weren't actually really two energies meeting. It's just completely unknowable inexperience what seems to be happening for no one.
No concept of saying I have failed in my marriage. That's completely not true.
No. Oh, yes, it's not. There is no one who has failed, but there never was a marriage also. You can't really fail in something that didn't exist.
And the concept of being a good mother, bad mother, it's just that. It's a concept.
Yeah, there is no one. And there just isn't anyone. I mean, there is no real mother, good or bad.
But the kids
These are all
don't see it
stories,
that way,
but-
because that's what I'm struggling with. My children believe I am their mother.
Probably because they believe they are kids, your kids. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I struggle with I'm a bad mother because I'm not with their father. And so I'm a shit mother because I'm not there 24 hours, and it's something I carry. So speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that you probably think that there is someone who is responsible for that.
Exactly.
Mm.
And I'm not.
There is no one.
There is no one.
But that's all. This message doesn't say anything about anyone being good or bad. There just isn't anyone. But how you are, apparently, is what seems to be happening, which isn't right or wrong. It's just exactly how it is. And it's blindly whole and complete. But it's not good or bad, really.
Yeah, because therapy didn't help. I'm still sitting here thinking I'm a bad mother after 50 therapy sessions. So apparently, because there is no me, she speaks to someone that doesn't even exist.
It's you're usually trying to somehow make you able to cope better with life.
Yeah, to show up as a mother and move back to America, but this body sits in Munich. And so,
Yeah, whatever.
so that's liberation. Really. This is liberation.
Everything is already free to be exactly what it is.
And so that does not feel any guilt, any shame, or it can still rise.
Guilt, not really, but there can be feelings. But guilt is a story. Yeah, of course, there's no guilt and no shame. Yeah. But there can still be sadness or something. There would just be no story of ownership running, that it's my fault.
But then the ex-husband calls and say, take responsibility for your actions, and I have to laugh and cry. I cannot, because I don't exist. It happened.
So that's it. Laughing, crying, isn't yeah. That's wholeness.
Yeah, but
That's what
the
seems to be
dilemma,
happening.
and I seem unempathic, as if I don't care, but that's not true. It just
Yeah, laughing and crying doesn't seem like not being. What did you say?
empathic.
Em-
The
oh, yeah.
empathy would be, I would go back. My storyline is my children with my ex in America. Okay? Their parent storyline. So the body sits here. That makes me seem as if I don't care about the kids, but that's not.
Maybe you don't care. Maybe there's just what seems to be happening, and there is no one caring.
Okay, that's good.
There's an apparent impact maybe on the body, and there is apparent caring somehow. But I mean, there isn't anyone really to care about.
Thoughts like, what can I do to be a good father can come up. Right.
Well, no.
No?
Well, no, this whole story doesn't, it's those generalized assumptions. Kind of, how can I be a good father? No. Of course, thoughts can come up, how to react in a situation or stuff like that. But those generalized ideas of there being someone playing a role, no, those generalized ideas, of course, they drop.
Maybe not so general, but like on next weekend we have free time, what can we do to have a fun time?
Yeah, kind of. Oh yeah, of course. To have a fun time. Yeah, why not? Yeah. But again, not in order to make myself feel good about myself. It would just be what happens. It would just be life happening, basically. What are we going to do next weekend? Let's plan it. And yeah, of course, why not? But for no deeper reason. And of course, there is no one there who has the impression that I have to do it in order to be happy then. In order to be a me that's okay with that.
Just automatically happens.
It would just be, yeah, absolutely. Oh, totally, of course. Yeah. I mean, there is nothing else really than thinking about what are we going to do tomorrow, what will we have for dinner, that's basically what it's about.
It's not bad.
The spiritual concept of you have to love yourself.
Yeah, as I said, it's another concept. There is no
That's
self
not
to love.
impossible, because who would love?
It's absolutely impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah. I don't love myself. I don't need to. I'm already happening. So
It's such a relief.
absolutely.
Oh.
Oh, totally. Who needs that? It's really.
And another concept in this self-sabotage
Yeah.
is not possible.
Well, only apparently, but not really. There's no self to be sabotaged. It's the idea that there is someone on a path towards real peace or real joy or love, and that you can sabotage yourself on that path. So.
And speaking of the path, because I come from a spiritual background of horoscopes, numerology, you name it. So someone told me you went off your path. That's ridiculous.
Well, to die is to get off the path. Absolutely. Yeah, there is no path. It's the end of any path. So, yeah. Yeah.
You lost it. You lost it.
Yeah. Of course, it sounds horrible to the person because the best thing it has, the impression to be on the right path. That's as good as it gets for the person. And of course, to get off track, it's kind of, oh no, no. Well, of course, that's what death is.
And the concept of having a life mission?
Yeah, and the life mission is to become a fulfilled me.
But there is no.
There is no unfulfilled me. There is no one.
Andreas, would you say that you no longer would ever look to anyone else for emotional support?
Well, it would just be what happens. But
But you
there
think-
wouldn't be anyone looking for it.
You wouldn't say it's just connected to the me, wanting to, because I assume like when the me is looking to someone else for emotional support, it's kind of like they want to be understood or have their story heard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it would live in the illusion that it needs salvation. Yeah.
And it can make it more bearable if someone understands how I'm feeling. It's like, oh, the emotion's not so bad. Whereas, because emotions aren't a big deal when there's no one observing them and placing a value on them.
Yeah, but there can also be reporting about that, and this might feel relieving.
Okay.
But it wouldn't come out of this need to create a fulfilled me. It would just be what happens or not.
And
Not because it's needed, but there's also nothing there which has to deal with itself by itself.
And when you said like you could report about emotions that could be relieving, there wouldn't be someone looking for a relief from the emotion.
Oh no, the relief would just be like it would be meaningless, of course.
Just a byproduct.
Yeah. And there would be no experience of relief. I mean, when I say there would be relief, what the person thinks is this inner moment of, this of course doesn't exist. So in that sense, that's what I mean with apparent relief. It's never attempting to come to this inner experience of, thank God, it was so nice to talk. Oh, I'm sorry. Shouldn't make fun of it. But no, there's just no, but it's just possible to, hello, and how you doing? I can tell you, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing separate. There isn't a separate body that stays with itself and is free.
No, my imagination was emotions can't get so intense when there's not a person adding all the story onto what the emotions
And that's
mean.
what I mean. It wouldn't come out of this felt need of I can't survive it. Of course. I mean, in the end, that would be why the person, those feelings are so intense, I can't survive it. I have to need someone. I have to talk to someone. This need is dreamt, of course. It wouldn't come out of need. Yeah. To arrive somewhere. To create this experience of salvation and rest. That's basically the person not wanting to be killed by the world, by feelings, or by what happens.
And it needs comfort.
Yeah, it needs
it
to
seeks that in the
survive
other person.
and comfort. Yeah. And it hopes that it can find comfort.
So you don't look for comfort at all?
Oh no. No. Oh really? I'm sorry. There's just no one there who lives in this inner state of existence trying to find salvation. I mean, the whole seeking is about, what usually happens is just in daily life. The person is looking for those small moments of, now can I be? I've worked for 4 hours, now I'm going to have a cigarette. Those mini enlightenments. And the hope is that it somehow sum up, and at some point there'll be the big forever.
I just didn't imagine that as a cigarette. I've got the packet. It's called the brand is called Mini Enlightenments.
Just have to reserve the copyright.
It's on camera.
I was first. And in a way, that's the whole seeking. It's about this moment, this experience of, now I can be without seeking for a while. And that's all the ideas of breakthrough, of being enlightened, and even without a story of enlightenment, that's what everyone seeks. It's only this. I have to seek, I have to be busy with myself, I'm in a process of doing something, and then that's basically the search. And this collapses completely. So there's nothing in here which is at rest. There's nothing in here which came to this moment of, I arrived. What's just not there.
What I like that you say sometimes when we're talking is like, even when the me experience is like a break from seeking because it got what it thought it wanted, it never actually ever touches the seeking energy.
Never. It's just what I just described is just circling within itself. There is, within this whole setup of doing and break and doing and break, it has nothing to do with liberation or with what we talk about here. Because this moment of rest, what the person might confuse with liberation, has nothing to do with the end of seeking. It's just a moment of rest that's experienced and enjoyed by someone. It's just another unfulfilling experience. That's why it just goes on to seeking again, because it didn't do anything. It was just another moment in the personal reality, as unfulfilling as everything else the person believes to experience. But that's what all methods are about. All techniques are trying to create those states, this moment, and of course to prolong it as long as possible.
So if a teacher, and again I don't know a huge amount about spirituality, but if a teacher is teaching you to have those moments of those states and prolong as much as possible, they kind of know that you're in and out of that while they're teaching you, don't they? Like,
no, teachers also think that it's about that.
What do you mean?
Well, they think that life is about creating those experiences.
But they believe they are fully enlightened, don't they?
Yeah, they think they have, well, it's very generalized now, very simplified, but of course their impression is that they have found the right way to be.
So they still think what they call their enlightenment is a result of them being in the right.
Yeah, of course.
So they still think there's work attached to being enlightened.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what the teaching is about. Yeah. And usually they just say it. It's not just a hidden idea they have. They just, I don't know, everyone has their own teaching, but it's a path and you have to do it until the end. It just goes deeper and deeper, whatever they say.
So they still think they're in a process then?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, it's not a process anymore of becoming, then it's a process of maintaining and not losing track.
Oh,
of course, most spirituality, I mean, as I said, it's very generalized now. They still practice their own method.
I didn't realise that. I thought they didn't have to practice because they were enlightened, but you need to practice because you're not.
Maybe they don't practice as deeply anymore because they get the admiration of their disciples. So.
That helps to maintain the state.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I don't need to meditate anymore. I have you. Meditate for me. Whatever. It's very generalized and simplified now. One needs to look at every story and what their teaching is, and then they say it actually quite directly what they believe and what they think is important and what's wrong and what life is about and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So yeah.
But in their dream, they think they're better off than the disciple.
Yeah.
Because they found the right way, but in reality, they're no better off than the disciple because they're just seeking
they're
as much as the disciple.
Absolutely, they're just as much working for their peace than they do. Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh.
It's actually all me's believing in the same story. That there are me's, that some me's have it and some don't, that there is something called enlightenment, that you can do something for it. They just believe in the same story. They share the same experience of being someone, living in the same map. No. Maybe after the break. So we'll have a break, half an hour. But I have to say something. When we were organizing this event, I was a bit in a Zen mood, so we don't have coffee or anything to offer. I'm sorry. We'll meet in half an hour.